we'll be taking temperature measurements in the lab, especially second semester. We'll use digital thermometers and alcohol thermometers. No mercury thermometers. The mercury is now outlawed in school. We can't have mercury of any kind. So our options for thermometers are either digital or alcohol. And we do have some temperature probes that are kind of hooked up to the computer. Those are cool too. The temperature scale then that we are never ever going to use is Fahrenheit. You are a sad face. We'll never ever use Fahrenheit. So now if by chance you are using a digital thermometer in the lab, they usually have a little button that lets them toggle between Fahrenheit and Celsius. We want them to read in Celsius. So just kind of double check and make sure that it says degrees Celsius when you turn on a digital thermometer. Most of our measurements then will be taken in Celsius in the lab. Whether it's digital or alcohol or even these temperature probes on the computer will measure in Celsius. However, there are times when we need to use the Kelvin scale. There are certain calculations that will require temperature to be measured in Kelvin. What's the difference? Okay, so the Celsius scale arbitrarily puts the freezing point of water at 0. They say, well, that'd be a good thing to call 0. Water is a very common substance. We'll say the freezing point of water is 0. Then water boils at 100. Those are nice, easy numbers to remember. And everything is kind of calibrated accordingly. On the Kelvin scale, 0 is called absolute 0. Okay, so these are a little different. Now we don't care about this guy. We're never going to use him. On the Kelvin scale, 0 is called absolute 0. It's this theoretical coldest temperature possible, where there are no particle vibrations even. I mean, like a solid, the particles are packed real tight, but they still do vibrate. There is a small amount of particle movement, not at absolute 0. Have we reached it? No. It's a very theoretical point. So no, nobody has reached absolute 0, but we've gotten close. The Celsius version would be negative 273. Would be equivalent to 0 Kelvin. We're in like the negative 200s, but we have not achieved absolute 0. Well, from there you can probably figure out the conversion, right? If you are at Celsius, then you just add 273, and that'll get you to Kelvin. If you are at Kelvin, you subtract 273, and that will get you to Celsius. It is okay to have a negative temperature in Celsius. You will not have a negative temperature in Kelvin. It is also normal that you would see degrees Celsius, but you do not necessarily see the degree sign with Kelvin. And again, if somebody put that in, if they said degree Kelvin, I wouldn't mark it wrong. But usually they just call it a Kelvin. And then the Celsius scale is measured off in degrees. But again, I wouldn't take off points if you put a degree by your Kelvin. I'd probably just write you a little note. This again is another conversion that we'll be using more second semester, but it is something that I would be familiar with. Okay, so the next little section gives you some practice. Please perform the following temperature conversions. They are only between Celsius and Kelvin, no Fahrenheit. So again, I think what I would do at this point, pause the video, grab a calculator. You'll always have a calculator for these, and just try a few. Then bring back the video, see if you're getting the correct answers, and if you are, excellent. If you're not getting the right answers, then again, that would be a sign that you might want to come in for a little extra help. So again, I would hit pause at this point, try some of these practice temperature conversions, and then bring it back, see if you're getting them right.